everyone, today we will be discussing another relevant topic which is worth discussing once we have graduated, and that is how to ace a job interview in a corporate world. Making an impression during an interview is certainly going to be very valuable, not just for students but for those who are comfortably sitting at their office desk or at home, and you may be wanting to switch your career path in the future. Let's get to know our distinguished guest for today's discussion. He is the administration manager of a top pharmaceutical and consumer distribution in the country. He started from the ranks as a medical representative to sales representative and got promoted as a supervisor, then a planning analyst, and then became part of the training team of his company. A part of his responsibilities is to hire and fire an employee. These were we're going to be asking him of his greatest contributions. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now welcome a physical therapist, a nurse, and a master's degree holder in nursing, Mr. Manuel Thelmo Rivera III. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Michael.
Will you tell us and give us a brief background? How did you start in this career?
Well, we actually started talking about it earlier. Just like what you have mentioned earlier, I am the sales admin manager of Dyadic Pharma. I have been in this industry for quite some time already, so more or less about 15 years. I started off as a medical representative from another pharmaceutical company. Then I transferred here in Dyadic Pharma in 2005. I started off as a sales representative, then I became the trade marketing representative. I do marketing and merchandising of certain products, then after which I was promoted as a supervisor. Then I also did some data mining and analysis, and eventually I became the sales admin manager. And part of my training is basically be part of the training team of the company.
Wow. And certainly you have a resource of experiences that everybody would like to find out more. I would like to focus most importantly on your responsibility as a job interviewer. Would you please tell us, is it the truth that a job interview for an interviewer, for an applicant, is a responsibility of human resource department? How did you get involved in this kind of process in interviewing and hiring job seekers in your company?
Well, just like of course in other company, yes, it is the responsibility of the human resource department to do the interview. But then again, since I handles a lot of departments under me, under my responsibility, so since we are the ones who are looking for people to fill up a certain vacancy in our department, so therefore we really have to work hand in hand with them. So in terms of selecting the final person to fill up a particular position, it's going to be under our responsibility since we are the department looking for them. So yes, it is their responsibility, but we work hand in hand with them, especially in terms of selecting people through or via, of course, interview.
How often do you hold interviews, sir?
Well, depending of course on our needs. So sometimes we have clients who come in and would tell us that they would be needing certain people, or they would be developing a certain group to service them exclusively. So we normally do that. But then again, based on our experience, though we don't want to interview as much people as possible, because it would just mean that we cannot handle or we cannot keep our people in our company.
Right.
But as much as possible, we want to keep them. But most often than not, most of our interviews we conduct in early part of the year, first quarter, for example, because a lot of employees from Dyadic Pharma, from our company, go to certain companies, are promoted early part of the year. So as much as possible, we want to fill them up as early as we can.
Can you take us into the process itself? How do you start the applicant process of evaluating and selecting the applicants itself? And could you take us into the process involved into that?
Certainly. Okay. Of course, this is going to be in coordination and with interaction, of course, with our HR department. We have two options if ever we are looking for someone to fill up a position. So one option is we inform our HR that we are looking for someone to fill up a particular position. We just tell them what our requirements are. So, for example, we want someone who is about 25 to 35 years of age. We want someone to be a graduate of this and that course, and we want someone to have this particular skill. So we tell them what we need. So our HR department will try to look into their pool of talents. It's try to pick up those people who are somehow qualified and would be fit to the particular position that we're looking for.
Right.
Then after which they do the examination, they do the initial interview, and then after they have pre-selected certain applicants, they would refer them to us, and then we do the final interview and of course eventual employment. But we also have another option wherein if we already have someone in mind, so we interview that person, we try to assess if that person is fit, we try to check if he is really good in this particular function, for example. Then after we have selected that person, we refer that person to our HR department to finish, of course, the processing and eventually employ that person.
Thank you. Now, many of our viewers are students. There are also some that are working part-time or currently employed, but maybe there are also some of our viewers right now maybe contemplating of switching a different career path in the future. I would like to ask, during an interview itself, what kind of applicant are you looking for? Do you value, which one do you give value more? Is it the skills, attitude, or the experiences more than the others?
Well, it actually depends on what position you're looking for or what person you are looking for to fill up a particular position. So for example, I would be needing someone to do data mining or somebody who is very good with analyzing data. Certainly, I wouldn't look for someone who is good in interpersonal relationship or has the charm to make a sale, because that is not going to be what we are looking for. We are looking for someone who is very good with Excel, who is very good with PowerPoint presentation, and who has the skills on presentation. So we would look for someone like that. So in other words, that's basically skills, technical skills. But if we're looking for someone who would be doing sales in the field, somebody who would go out there, go into the market, go into the hospitals to cover doctors, go into the drugstores to do selling in the field. So we would love to have someone who knows interpersonal relationship, who is very much patient in dealing with people, who can also work on his own without too much supervision, because of course if you are going to be thrown in the field, you cannot expect your supervisor to be with you all the time. So you want that person to be as much as possible, be able to perform his or her responsibility the best way possible without too much supervision. So therefore, again, it depends on the person that you're looking for to fill up a particular position, but most often than not, we need to have someone who has a balance between skills and behavioral, and of course, if possible, experience as well.
I certainly agree with what you just said, Mr. Rivera, and I really think that a person should have a balance between these requirements that are needed in order to build or fulfill a dream job in a corporate world. My penultimate question is this, and this is certainly one of the dreaded part of the interview or concern of many of our students who are applying for a job, much more during an interview. And that is, does it really matter if one hails from a top-notch university as opposed to those who did not? Will it affect their job application, or should they just brush it off or just ignore it and never entertain that thought?
Well, people will have different opinions regarding this, but my opinion is that yes, it would matter a lot, because we all know that in our country today, we have certain schools, be it top-notch or not, who has the great training and who are specialized in certain fields. For example, law, for example, we know that UP Diliman or Ateneo is doing very good in this field. Or if you're talking about nursing, if you're talking pharmacy, medical technology, where you are looking at University of Santo Tomas. So yes, it would matter a lot if, for example, you're looking for someone to become your corporate lawyer. You try to look at people who graduated from these schools which are very good in training their law students, for example. But what I'm saying is, it does not really, it's not really the end or a be all. It doesn't mean that if you did not graduate from these schools, you are not qualified to be in a particular position. But with proper training, with proper exposure, with proper asking from people who are your mentors, then I guess we will all be qualified. Me, for example, when I do the interview, when you ask me to be interviewed by you, I look at your questions, I try to think that if I could really answer these questions properly, so I prepared for that. Or if I am tasked to interview a particular applicant, I look at his resume, I try to look as well into my series of questions, and then when he comes into the interview, I come prepared. So with all, again, with proper training, with proper preparation, and with proper guidance and training and mentoring, any applicant can do a particular position.
Thanks a lot for that. So it boils down to preparation, training, and guidance, and you're gonna get the job. Well, sir, I would like to ask, as a final word to all our viewers right now, what is your message for every prospective applicant?
Okay, what is very important is that you are passionate about what you are doing. And you will never stop from improving yourself. You always have to aspire for personal growth and professional development. I myself, for example, I am a graduate of from the medical field, but I am now here in distribution, in marketing and selling, so it's really different from what I graduated from or what I learned from school. But of course, with proper exposure again, with proper training, and with, of course, guidance from both in the company and most importantly from the one up above, I think everything is possible. So just do it. If the opportunity knocks at your door, grab it and make sure that at the end of the day you're doing your very best and nobody can tell you that you cannot do it because everything is possible.
Thank you so much for that. And thank you for imparting to us your rich stories that you've had in dealing with prospective applicants. Certainly our viewers right now are going to get pointers on how to ace their future jobs or how to ace their job interviews in the corporate world. And I would like to just add one thing or a couple of things to what Mr. Rivera told us today. It is important that we know what we want. We are passionate with the job that we want, and always evaluate what we can serve or do or contribute to the company that we're going to be working with in the future. Again, this is Michael. I hope that somehow we were able to impart educational and an entertaining side of this relevant topic for today. And again, thank you for watching us today.